Today, I have a couple of different recipes I want to share that are good for two people households, or it's a recipe that you can make for multiple people. So this will serve retirees and families, so stay tuned. We are first going to start with Pennsylvania barbecue. I live in southern central Pennsylvania, like I've said before, and that's where I'm going to start. So let's get into it. First thing, medium-high heat, a drop of oil to cook the onion. Medium-high heat, the onion is added. We're going to saute that up, and then I will explain the rest. Using my new wooden spoon I got for Christmas from my son Chris. Anyway, we're gonna mix that up and saute that. Meat is added in, and we are going to brown this meat. Okay, so now we're going to make the sauce, so to speak, for the barbecue. We have brown sugar, chili sauce, and then we're gonna put in some white vinegar, some yellow mustard, which gives it some flavoring, and some ketchup, which finishes it up. And we add it to the ground beef. After the ground beef is cooked, you just add those ingredients mixed together into the ground beef, and you let it simmer for a long while. And that is how I make my barbecue. I've put it in this crock pot to keep it warm while we eat it during all the football activities on Sunday. It's a great meal to just put in the crock pot, and if you're hungry, you get a sandwich, and so on. This is my barbecue sandwich. I put the barbecue inside right there. So one simple dinner complete. Let's go have some barbecue. Okay, we're starting chili. This is a go-to quick meal. First, we need to brown the meat. Okay, meat all cooked. Time to drain the grease. Look at all that grease in there. That's so unhealthy. I always add 2 cans of kidney beans to 1 pound or 1 1/4 pound of ground beef. Then I take my packet, and it has all the seasonings in it. I know I should make my own chili seasoning, but this is easy, it's convenient, so this is how I do it. I'm gonna add it to the meat and the beans. So now we're gonna mix in the seasoning. Tomato sauce is next. Some people use salsa instead. I use tomato sauce. Then I'm going to bring this to a boil and simmer. Now we're on to our third and final recipe that I'm going to share with you today. And this one is my traditional beef stew. Everybody makes it different, but I'm going to share my recipe, and hopefully you'll like it. And any of these recipes that I've shared today, you can scale up or scale back depending if you have a 2-family household or a family. A lot of times I'll just make the full recipe and freeze the rest of it for a later time. And then I have an easy pull out of the freezer meal for my husband and I. So let's get started with this beef stew. It's one of my faves. Okay, this is step 1, cutting up all the meat. Everybody knows how to cut up stew meat. I just cut it up in little bite-sized pieces. And we're going to add some flour to this. So let's take the bowl over here to where the flour is on the table. I made some pizza dough today, so I have the flour out. And we're going to dust this meat with flour. So now the stew meat is dusted with the flour. We're going to cook the stew meat first. We're going to brown it up in my big pot here. Let me get a little bit of oil on the bottom to brown up this meat. I use a little bit of, doesn't matter what brand, vegetable oil, canola oil, whatever you have on the bottom. It needs a little bit to get the meat brown. I think I need a little bit more. Anyway, we'll warm that up, put my front burner on, and once that is warm, we'll add the meat. Okay, so I have this on medium heat. As you can see in here, everything's sizzling. Everything's sizzling. Yes, my husband has a football game in the background, so you might hear a tiny bit of football noise. But I'm gonna try to close my kitchen door so as not to hear that. But he's watching the Eagles, it's playoff time, and so the TV's loud. So now we have the beef stew, a little bit of onion. You can leave the onion out if you don't want it, but I like to put just a tiny bit. The recipe calls for more, but I like a little bit of onion, not too much. We just gotta let that brown up. It's all brown. Now we add 2 cups of water. That's 1. That's 2. We're going to add more water later when we add the veggies. But right now, we added 2 cups of water. We're going to let this simmer for about, till it's done. It's usually a half hour or so. So that's what I'm working on now. Now we have the potatoes diced. I dice them pretty small. And we're going to add it to the beef, because the potatoes take longer than the carrots to cook. So naturally we gotta add them first. And everything I want submerged below the water. So if the potatoes are sticking out like they do, we have to add more water. So everything's pretty submerged below the water. We're going to let that boil or simmer until the potatoes are cooked. Okay, here we are simmering our stew. I have added the potatoes and carrots. You can add as much as you like. And some people put celery. I don't like celery in it, so potatoes and carrots is my jam. And you can add more potatoes than carrots, whatever you prefer. This you can make your own however you like. So I'm gonna let it simmer for a while. So the beef stew is done. And that's my 3rd meal. So there you have it. 3 perfect meals for 2. Or you can make a bigger portion for a big family, or still make it for 2, make the larger portion it out in the freezer for another day. Remember, I will have either a link to the recipe or the recipe in the description down below for all 3 meals that I made today. And comment down below, what are your 3 meals that you make if you're retired for 2 people or a family, or what are the meals that you like and enjoy to make? Comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, amici.